For over 100 years, the Apostolic Church has gathered to pray together, and for over 100 years, we've known powerful answers to prayer. In fact, the Apostolic Church was born in the prayer meeting, and from that gathering of God's people to pray, it's belted the globe with the good news of Jesus Christ. 110 years ago, one night in February 1911, 3 groups were meeting to pray in the village of Pennygroes in West Wales. Since the revival a few years earlier, God had been at work powerfully in the village, drawing people to Jesus for salvation, and the believers kept praying. Their pastor, D.P. Williams, was a man of prayer who led the church to be a people of prayer. That night at the youth meeting, there were 14 new Christians. At the same time in the church, there was a prayer meeting going on, and another group had gathered in a house in the village. All 3 groups were praying. And the same thing happened in all 3 places. The fire fell and they were all baptized in the Holy Spirit, and the outpouring of the Spirit in those 3 prayer gatherings on that one night was the beginning of the Apostolic Church. From those 3 groups of praying people, the gospel has spread to every continent, and those 14 newly saved young people in a little village in Wales became the first fruits of what's now over 15 million believers around the world. God answered their prayers in an even greater way than they could have imagined all those years ago. From the earliest days, the Lord spoke through prophecy to call the people of the Apostolic Church to unite together in prayer for evangelism, mission, and the spread of the gospel. And He promised to answer by belting the globe. Out of prayer gatherings over the decades, God has raised up evangelists and missionaries, softened hard hearts, healed the sick, and done what no one but God alone could do. Behind every advance, every new assembly, and every new mission field has been God's people gathered together to pray. And that's not just the story of our past, but the story of our future too. The same God who heard and answered the prayers of the people in Pennygroes all those years ago is the one who delights to hear and answer our prayers today, and will still delight to hear and answer them in the years to come. He still saves, He still pours out His Spirit, He still answers when His people pray.